it's Emma. Hello, nice to see you. Right, so I'm going to start working on creating my cover, and the way that this cover works is like this. I've got an example here of how these screw posts work. So it's basically a cover, and then there is a bit in the middle, this bit here, where you put the contents. So this bit here is separate. You can see that hopefully you can see there's some rivets in here that go through to the other side, and that holds that in. So it's actually a pretty simple way of creating an album. So I'm going to be recreating something very similar to this. And I'm also going to be designing the front cover of my album. I haven't really decided what it exactly is going to look like, but what I want to do is use this frame, which was in the history kit, and put Week in the Life inside it like this, just to give it a little bit more texture. And yeah, so this bit I'm not quite sure about. So what I'm going to do with this video is, as I work this out, I'm going to do it in Affinity Publisher and Designer, which is an alternative to Adobe InDesign and Illustrator, but without the ridiculous subscription fee. So let's just get going. So firstly, what I'm doing here is figuring out how big my cover and spine need to be. I'm very visual. I literally have to see it. Otherwise I make too many mistakes. I've learned from experience. I'm just now measuring how wide my album is so that I know how wide the spine needs to be. Now I have it figured out, I am going to be cutting out those elements from some 2mm grey card. In retrospect, I would not have used this. I think in future I'll use mount board because it was quite fibrous and you could see it through the album cover when it's finally finished. Not badly, but I don't think I'll use it again. And now what I'm doing is just making sure that I can actually fit the cover and the spine onto one piece of A4, because that is the size of my sticker paper that I'm going to use. This is Affinity Publisher, and I'm creating grey squares to be exactly the same size as my front cover and my spine. I want to make sure I get the design exactly right, and these little extra bits which are coloured green, they are like the crease spaces, so I just want to make sure that I don't put anything on those so that it doesn't fall off the side. I made this graphic from one of the digital Week in the Life papers. I just cut it out, and I'm going to use that on the spine, and you're going to see in a minute that I'm going to drag in the actual piece of paper or digital paper which is going to actually form my front cover. And I do that by using the picture frame tool in Publisher, which is incredibly useful because you can just move things about very easily, as you can see here, trying to figure out exactly where I want it. Then I'm using a digital version of the frame that we saw before to see if I feel that proportionally it does work well. And I feel that I like that, so I decided to go ahead and I print that page out on paper, just so that I can now figure out what I'm going to put inside the frame. And you can see I go backwards and forwards with very many different designs before kind of settling on the one that I feel works best for me. So in the end, I decided to choose this little white cloud and put Week in the Life on the top of it and see how that looks. And I quite like that. I felt it was simple enough, but still added enough dimension. But you'll see that in the end, I do actually change my mind again. So now I am using some Ali Edwards digital stamps to write my 2023 for the side spine. Although I really liked how it looked, I kind of felt it just needed a little bit more fun to it. It was all looking a bit black and white. So I just duplicated all of those numbers and then recolored them in the same colors from the Week in the Life 23 collection. And you'll see I'll go through a few color changes here before I decide on the one that I like. And then I just group them all back together and resize them and put them back on my spine. So now what I'm going to do is replicate the front cover, and it's going to be the same as the back cover. Before I do, I just extend the outside of that cover because I want to make sure that it completely wraps around the cardboard and doesn't have any white showing. So that's why I've made that bit a bit bigger. And then I just remove those green elements because obviously I don't want those to print out. I'm just double checking that everything does actually work before I print it out on the matte sticker paper that I'm going to be using. And this turned out to be quite a useful exercise because I realized that once I had temporarily adhesives stuck these down, that the spine wasn't quite in the right place. So I just knew then that I needed to pay more attention to that when I actually do it for the actual cover with the sticker paper. And you can see there that the life word is very close to the edge there. But overall, I think it looks pretty good and I'm very happy with it. Then I go back to trying to figure out what I'm going to put in this frame because I still haven't quite decided. So you'll see again a lot of toing and throwing here. There's a little white cloud and I'm just cutting out that piece of paper with the Week in the Life on to see if I like it. And then I noticed I had that little yellow cloud and I thought, oh, I wonder if that will work better. And that is actually the design that I end up going for. So now I have printed out the cover on matte vinyl sticker paper and I'm just trimming off the excess that I don't need. It was a bit of a scary moment sticking this down, but actually I didn't need to worry too much because it did actually come off quite easily when I needed it to. See there the fibre that I was referring to before, which was a little bit annoying because it did cause a few bumps, but I know for next time. Everything's a learning process. So this little tool here, I don't know the exact name of it, but it's basically to measure your corners so that you have the right amount of overlap when you are folding over the cover. I just made it myself by watching some YouTube video. You can buy them, but I just made mine out of cardboard, and it just makes sure that when you do fold over your sticker paper or fabric, if you were using that, it's exactly the right angle and size, so your corners are very, very neat. cover, and I'm very happy about it. It looks really cool. So I've got some, I think it's like 200 gram, just plain white card that I'm just going to use to just line the inside. Some acid-free glue here. It's actually very difficult to work with. It's very hard to spread, but it never leaves any kind of mark or bleed through, so I continue to use it for that reason, and because I've got a lot of it, as you can see. And here I'm just making sure that the paper goes right into those creases, so that when the album is fully made, those creases will be in exactly the right place and won't pull on the paper. And then just sticking them down with just some plain old masking tape. So I cut out the week in the life on my silhouette from black vinyl, and I'm just going to add that on top of the paper. Just one little tip is just make sure that your transfer tape is not too sticky, because otherwise you could end up ripping the paper that you're putting it on. Just making sure that is very well stuck down. And then adhering the vellum with score tape to the back of my frame there. Then these are the remaining stickers that came, little puffy stickers that came in the mini kit. So I'm just randomly placing these around the week in the life cloud. I think they look really cute. I think that's pretty much finished. So we are back with the finished album, and a big reveal. Ta-da! There we go. Here is the infamous frame. I've updated it once again, and now it has live, create, tell the story just on the outside of the frame here. On the spine, I've added one of the embellishments from the mini kit with some alpha letters, puffy alpha letters, and a little heart from my stash. And you can see the back is the same as the front cover, but without any more embellishments on it. So it's pretty chunky. It stands up fine, which is fantastic. On the inside, I now have the document and embellishment. I really like this embellishment, so I'm really pleased that I found a space to put it. And if I flip right to the back, I added one embellishment here, which reads "Ending the day this way," which I also felt was quite fitting. So the way that this album works is here is the hinge in the middle that is literally just a piece of cardboard, two more pieces of cardboard on the outside, and then I did kind of stick it in, but I also put some, what are these things called, rivets in. Now I didn't do a great job of putting them in the right place, but they're in nevertheless, and they're stopping it from coming out. And the screws just go through this side, through the other side, and through all of the papers in between, as you can see. And what I really love about it is that when you lie it down and lie it sort of with the hinge facing up, the pages just lie pretty much flat. So it enables you to just flip through it pretty easily, as you can see. So thank you so much for joining me on my journey, making my first ever week in the life. I've really enjoyed making these videos and I hope that you've enjoyed watching them. I hope to make some more process videos and how-to soon, so please subscribe. It really makes a difference and it really inspires me to keep going. And I'll see you all soon. Bye!